They were the girls everyone admired, bright smiles, perfect routines, and the heartbeat of their schools. Cheerleaders symbolized everything good about youth and ambition, but behind the glitter and applause, something dark was brewing. What happens when the pressure to be perfect collides with unthinkable choices?
It says she gave birth in the family home and then killed her baby.
The Carlisle teen is charged with killing her newborn baby.
Murdered a baby that she didn't want and never intended to keep.
This case is about a rush to judgment.
My wife just got back from out of town, and I believe that we are heading down the road of getting divorced.
I don't know when it hit me, but I was a grandmother and I never had any of the benefits of it.
These are the shocking stories of cheerleaders who went from inspiring crowds to facing judges. It's a reminder that behind every perfect facade lies a human story, sometimes tragic, sometimes horrifying, but always real. Let's dive into the chilling truth of cheerleaders turned killers. In the quiet town of Carlisle, Ohio, Brooke Skylar Richardson, an 18-year-old high school senior with a bright smile and a promising future, found herself at the center of a chilling case that captured national attention. Known as Skylar, she was a popular cheerleader, known for her dedication to the sport, her bubbly personality, and her seemingly perfect suburban life. But behind the pristine facade lay a secret that would unravel in the most shocking way. In May 2017, Skylar quietly gave birth to a baby girl in the middle of the night in her family's bathroom. The pregnancy itself had been a secret. Not even her closest friends or family knew. Skylar had discovered she was pregnant in April, just weeks before her due date, during a visit to her OBGYN. She hadn't gained much weight, and her small frame concealed the pregnancy. Her doctor had expressed concern and urged her to inform her parents, but Skylar didn't. When she went into labor, Skylar was alone. She later claimed that the baby, whom she named Annabelle, was stillborn. In a state of panic, she wrapped the infant's body in a towel, took it outside, and buried it in a shallow grave in the backyard. She said a small prayer and returned to her room, pretending as though nothing had happened. For months, the secret remained hidden, both literally and figuratively. Skylar resumed her daily life, attending prom just days after the birth and posting smiling photos online. No one suspected a thing until July 2017, when Skylar returned to her OBGYN for a follow-up appointment. During the visit, she admitted to her doctor that she had delivered a stillborn baby and buried it in her backyard. Alarmed, the doctor informed authorities, sparking an investigation that would soon lead to Skylar's arrest. When police arrived at the Richardson home, they discovered the tiny grave in the backyard. The remains were exhumed and sent for analysis. What followed was a whirlwind of accusations and legal battles that thrust Skylar and her family into the spotlight. Prosecutors claimed that Skylar had deliberately killed her newborn to maintain her perfect image and avoid the shame of being a teenage mother. They alleged that she had set her baby on fire before burying her, though this claim was later proven false during the trial.
The neighbors have already called me. Chris already called me, and I know she was telling me that they're digging up stuff in her backyard. You're going to be on the news. How do you think Mims and Paps and Bill and Janet will feel? Please, so support me. Skylar, I am supportive, but I'm just saying.
The defense painted a very different picture. Skylar, they argued, was a scared teenager who had no intention of harming her baby. They claimed that the baby was stillborn and that Skylar's actions afterwards, while misguided, were not criminal. Her lawyers emphasized her struggles with body image and an eating disorder, which had contributed to her denial and secrecy about the pregnancy. The trial in September 2019 was emotional and polarizing. Skylar's family sat in the courtroom, visibly distraught, while the prosecution and defense presented their cases. Prosecutors relied on text messages, medical records, and Skylar's inconsistent statements to paint her as someone who would go to any lengths to preserve her reputation. In one text sent to her mother after the birth, Skylar wrote, "I'm literally speechless right now with how happy I am. My belly is back." The prosecution used this as evidence of her relief at getting rid of the baby. The defense, however, focused on expert testimony that supported Skylar's claim that the baby was stillborn. Medical examiners testified that the remains were too decomposed to determine a cause of death, undermining the prosecution prosecution's theory of intentional harm. The defense also called attention to Skylar's psychological state, arguing that she was a vulnerable young woman who made a terrible decision under immense pressure. Throughout the trial, Skylar appeared quiet and tearful, often looking down as the graphic details of the case were recounted. The jury was tasked with deciding whether Skylar was guilty of aggravated murder, involuntary manslaughter, and child endangerment.
Skylar, I'm telling you, it makes me sick. The cute little bag of popcorn you had, you'll never finish.
Honey, stop, please stop.
Do you have any idea how we feel? I had to deliver a dead baby.
Or if she was simply a frightened teenager who made a mistake. After deliberating for 4 hours, the jury acquitted Skylar of the most serious charges. She was found guilty only of abuse of a corpse for burying her baby without notifying authorities. The conviction carried a maximum sentence of 1 year in jail, but Skylar was sentenced to 3 years of probation. In court, she tearfully apologized to her parents and the court, saying, "I'm forever sorry."
I can sometimes be selfish, but I would like to think that I've become better in the knowledge that I've upset everyone and hurt so many people with what I've done, and I'm forever sorry, and I'm so sorry.
The case left the small town of Carlisle and the nation divided. Some viewed Skylar as a victim of her circumstances, a young woman trapped by societal expectations and fear. Others saw her as a cold and selfish person who prioritized her image over the life of her child. The trial sparked debates about mental health, teenage pregnancy, and the pressures young women face to appear perfect. After the verdict, the story didn't end there. Skylar's family faced intense public scrutiny, with protesters gathering outside their home and social media users hurling hateful comments. The Richardsons maintained their support for Skylar, describing her as a loving daughter who made a tragic mistake. In the years since the trial, Skylar has largely stayed out of the public eye. She has spoken about her struggles with mental health and the toll the case took on her life. While she will always be remembered as the cheerleader who buried her baby, her story also serves as a sobering reminder of the complexities and consequences of human behavior under extreme pressure. Skylar Richardson's case remains one of the most controversial and talked about legal stories in recent memory, leaving many to wonder, was she a victim of circumstance or someone who got away with murder? Which takes us to our next story. A cheerleader, Lindsay Shiver, whose personal decision almost cost her prison time. Lindsay Shiver seemed to have it all: a picturesque marriage, a luxurious lifestyle, and 3 beautiful children. But beneath the surface, the Shivers' marriage was unraveling, leading to a shocking crime that captivated the public. In 2023, Lindsay's seemingly perfect world began to crumble. Reports surfaced that she was having an affair with Terrence Bethel, a 28-year-old Bahamian bartender. Friends described Lindsay as living a double life, a devoted mom in Georgia and a thrill seeker in the Bahamas. Her affair was no secret, and Robert, tired of the betrayal, had hired a private investigator to confirm his suspicions. The investigator captured incriminating photos of Lindsay and her lover, prompting Robert to file for divorce in April 2023. He accused her of adultery and sought custody of their children, the family home, and other assets. Lindsay retaliated, claiming Robert had been abusive and accusing him of financial manipulation, including moving $98,000 from their joint account. She also demanded alimony, stating that she was financially dependent on him. Their divorce turned into a bitter battle, with accusations flying on both sides. The couple's animosity escalated. Police body cam footage revealed multiple disputes, including one where Lindsay accused Robert of blocking her access to their private jet. She alleged that he had been physically aggressive, an accusation he denied.
Makes me nervous. I'm a nervous wreck. Makes me not want to go home, though.
Yeah. She's left.
Y'all don't know her. You don't know her like me.
No, I don't know her.
So it's not a good environment. It's a toxic environment, and it's.
Meanwhile, Robert's family painted Lindsay as unstable, claiming they feared for their safety and her mental health. Tensions reached a boiling point, setting the stage for the shocking events to come. In July 2023, the situation took a sinister turn. Lindsay, now embroiled in a heated custody and divorce battle, made an unthinkable decision. She conspired to have Robert killed. Working with her lover Terrence, she hired a hitman to execute the plan, and her husband. Authorities later discovered a chilling text from Lindsay to the hitman, including a photo of Robert with the words, kill him. Unfortunately for her, that message ended up in the hands of Bahamian police investigating an unrelated case, a robbery at Terrence's workplace. Searching his phone, they discovered the plot. Lindsay, Terrence, and another man, Farron Newbold Jr., were arrested for conspiracy to commit murder. Farron, a respected engineer, shocked locals by being implicated. During questioning, Lindsay broke down, claiming the message was just venting over her divorce. Farron, the once respected engineer whose involvement had rocked the community, kept his gaze fixed on the table. The prosecutor wasted no time painting a damning picture. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this was no mere venting. This was a calculated conspiracy. The courtroom gasped as text messages, phone call logs, and a chilling voice recording were presented as evidence.
This is dispatch. Okay, so today at work, I had a letter delivered to me, and it was a USB thumb drive. And it didn't have a return to sender address or anything, and so I plugged the thumb drive in, and it had all these pictures of my wife on it from about 2 weeks ago when we were out of the country.
Lindsay's defense attorney, however, fought back with fervor. The case is built on words taken out of context. My client was emotionally distraught, processing a painful divorce. She never intended harm. In a dramatic twist, Farron took the stand. His voice trembled as he declared, "I was dragged into this unknowingly. I trusted the wrong people." But under cross-examination, the prosecutor revealed inconsistencies in his story, leaving the jury to wonder if he was truly innocent or merely covering his tracks. The story spiraled further. Lindsay was sent to Fox Hill, one of the world's toughest prisons, where she spent 19 days under brutal conditions. Meanwhile, rumors swirled that Robert paid her $100,000 bail, though this was denied. Released with strict conditions, Lindsay had to stay in the Bahamas, avoid her husband and kids, and follow a curfew. Yet in court, Lindsay and Terrence appeared unfazed, whispering and giggling. By December, Lindsay was allowed to visit the U.S. for the holidays. But this isn't just a crime story. It's a twisted tale of love, betrayal, and lives unraveling under the spotlight. These stories remind us of the immense pressure society places on women to meet impossible standards, whether it's being the perfect cheerleader, the flawless wife, or the ideal mother. When life takes unexpected turns, judgment is swift, and the truth often becomes lost in the chaos of public opinion. But what do you think? Were these women victims of circumstance, societal pressure, or their own decisions? How should justice be served in cases that blur the line between desperation and criminality? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more thought-provoking content. Together, we'll continue exploring the stories that challenge our understanding of truth, justice, and human nature.